you join anything together, you can make a lot of things worse or make it better. So remember, just by joining something together doesn't mean to say it's a good idea. But if two things go together and go together well, and you do it appropriately, you could get sort of 1 + 1 = 3. So what we've got here is, you know, thanks to Axelos for creating this, but we've got the PRINCE2 Agile cake, or some people call it a sponge, some strawberries on the top there, and this icing showing the sort of seeping between the layers is showing that these aren't running in parallel universes. We're trying to blend these two things together. So they each have their own sort of fundamental strengths. So if we take the project management stuff we talked about earlier, PRINCE2 is very good at the fundamentals of project management. You know, 1 million people have been sort of credited in PRINCE2. It's an industry standard. It's brought an awful lot to the party over the last decade in terms of how to run a project well. So it's very good at the blue stuff here around the outside. Whereas Agile is very good at product delivery, actually creating the product. Now remember in PRINCE2, and I don't know if you remember your PRINCE2 course, but when you get to the bit when you actually create something, that bit of the course lasts about 2 minutes. So you have all this massive stuff about project management, and then when you come to actually create something, you go, and then you go and build it. Anyway, let's get back on the project management. And you're thinking, hang on, isn't that the hard bit? Isn't that the bit that takes the time? Well, that's, if you like, the pink thing, the pink area down the bottom is the product delivery. But Agile's very good in here, in the product delivery. PRINCE2 is very good with the project management, but can we put them together? And the short answer is yes, but when we put them together, we've got to get some project management discipline down into the product delivery when there's, if you like, more than one moving part. If there's several products, several teams, how do we get the teams to talk together? Well, that's where the project manager can come in and facilitate that sort of information exchange. But equally, some of this Agile stuff, the idea of, you know, pragmatism, 80-20, maybe changing the features quickly, can we get that to move up into PRINCE2 and get PRINCE2 a little bit more responsive? A good example is a project board. You know, a project board, do they need something, do they need a highlight report handed to them once a week in a Word document? Or can they go and look on a whiteboard in the project room and pull the information for themselves? The latter would be quite an Agile behaviour. You're sort of trusting the team, you're pulling the information you want, you're letting them get on with it. That would be an Agile way of working. So this is why we're trying to show you Agile thinking and concepts going up into PRINCE2, but a bit of discipline and structure coming down into Agile when it is in a project context, when you're trying to get a little bit more sophisticated.
But it must, for some organizations, to get the project direction to become more agile, now we have to move out of the office and go down and see how the board is looking for. It must be very difficult to get that behavior integrated into the organization.
Yes. Now, here's the interesting thing. Sometimes that won't be possible because that board is in India and you're in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
But another thing is, if it's ingrained that a good idea of control is in a document and someone presents to you and it's a bit more command and control, then culturally you're trying to move some behaviours. But the key thing is, which gives you the most control? Mm-hmm. Because just because you've got a lot of documents going around, is that a better place or not? Because funnily enough, this stuff is, you know, live, real-time information, and if you know what to look at, it's probably better.
Yeah.
And you probably get more trust in the team. It's probably a better way of working. Mm-hmm. But this is the question you've asked is particularly powerful because this is why context is everything. Because sometimes you'll be able to go and look at a board and get the information that you want. Other times you might need a webcam on it or they send you some photos. Another time you can't do it. And therefore I need a highlight report.
But sometimes it won't do it.
That's a different issue, and you're right. That is here, and that's cultural.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people say Agile is very much a mindset, because you're trying to say, well, you know, just because you've done it that way in the past doesn't mean to say we do it this way in the future. And this is why Agile transformation is sometimes quite tricky, because you're asking people to behave in a different way. So if you empower and trust the team, so it's a good thing. So remember, but that's not the fault of PRINCE2 or Agile or anything. That is organisational sort of headcount. Where are we for time here? We'll take a break in about 5 or 10 minutes, I think. So blending the two together and the word blend is important. It isn't just let's do Agile for here and we can do PRINCE2 for the stuff here like we've normally done. One of the biggest reasons is a lot of PRINCE2 traditionally has been around time and cost. but we're not necessarily going to play with those variables in an Agile context. So, they each have their own strengths, but again, who's it for and where should it be used? And this is where, if you look in the manual, in fact, let's just take one quick look at a table that you might find quite important. And I don't know, Adam, sometimes this might, this on pages 18 and 19, there's about 3 tables there. And what we're trying to say with those 3 tables is, you've got to look at where you are and what your context is. So you might be a PRINCE2 project manager and you're running into Agile and you're trying to work out what it is. It might be that there is no Agile there and you want to actually use Agile. Or you might be encountering that idea of a slightly more grown-up, evolved Agile. So it could be no Agile, basic Agile, or a quite advanced Agile. So this is why you need to be careful who your audience is and what you're finding and applying PRINCE2 in the appropriate way. It could be that you're dealing with an organisation that is so mature with its Agile, it's already built its own project structures and actually doesn't need PRINCE2. Quite possible. Don't bring PRINCE2 into a place that hasn't got a problem to solve. I'd say that would be quite rare, but it's certainly not impossible. So this is why I'm saying you need to look, hang on, have I got advanced Agile here? No Agile? This is where you need to apply it in the right way.